Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where abortion laws are older than the urinal and Trump's endorsements are more tangled than a game of political twister, this is Ballot.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Ballot, the podcast that finds the hilarity in the absurdity of American politics. This week, we've got quite the lineup for you. We'll dive into Arizona's ancient abortion ban that predates cowboy hats and paper bags, and ponder the possibility of a prison-based presidency. Plus, we'll check in on the latest debate drama between Trump and Biden. All that and more, coming up on Ballot. Last week, the Arizona Supreme Court upheld an absolute abortion ban based on a law drafted in 1864 that provides no exceptions for rape or incest. Seth Meyers joked, 1864? Was anybody even there yet? Was this their first law after Don't Shoot the Piano Player? Stephen Colbert pointed out, it's a law so old that it was passed before women had the right to vote. To which the Supreme Court said, don't worry, we'll work on that one next. This law is so old that it predates the invention of the cowboy hat, the urinal, the paperclip, and the machine that makes paper bags. Jimmy Kimmel said, 5 major networks are working on a joint letter to both candidates urging Trump and Biden to debate. They said the letter is not finished because they're waiting for more networks to sign on. And it's taking a while because no one at Newsmax knows how to read or write. Switching topics, Kimmel joked, of course the cherry tree is the basis for one of our nation's most cherished untrue stories, about a young George Washington who used his new hatchet to chop down his father's cherry tree. And then when his father asked, did you do this? He replied, no, it was a total witch hunt. Well, folks, it seems like our former and current presidents had quite different ideas of what constitutes a good meal yesterday. While Donald Trump was out there pressing the flesh and chowing down on some heavenly Chick-fil-A with the good people of Georgia, Joe Biden was living it up at the White House with a fancy schmancy state dinner. That's right, Trump was all about the Lord's chicken, as he so reverently put it, mingling with the masses and trying to convince them that his third run for the presidency is a good idea. I mean, nothing says I'm a man of the people quite like bonding over a shared love of waffle fries and secret sauce. Am I right? Meanwhile, over in D.C., Biden was rubbing elbows with the who's who of the political and business world. We're talking Bill and Hillary Clinton, Jeff Bezos and his fiancée Tim Cook, Jamie Dimon, and even Robert De Niro. It's like a real-life version of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, except instead of Sidney Poitier, it's a bunch of CEOs and former presidents. And let's not forget the family affair. Ashley Biden and her husband were there, along with Hunter Biden's daughters. I guess when you're the president, Bring Your Kid to Work Day involves a lot more than just showing them around the Oval Office and letting them spin in your chair. It seems like our dear old friend Donald Trump has found himself in quite a pickle. The former president is facing felony charges in not 1, not 2, but 4 separate criminal indictments across 3 states and the nation's capital. Talk about a busy schedule. Now I know what you're all thinking. If Trump gets convicted, can he still be president? Maybe even run the country from behind bars? Well, the answer might surprise you. Apparently, the U.S. Constitution doesn't explicitly forbid a convicted felon from serving as commander-in-chief. That's right. The Founding Fathers were so focused on making sure the president was at least 35 years old and born in the good old US of A that they forgot to add, must not be a convicted criminal, to the list of requirements. According to the esteemed Professor Richard L. Hasen from UCLA, an election law expert, the only other restriction comes from the 14th Amendment, which bars anyone who participated in an insurrection from running for the presidency. But here's the kicker. That's not even what Trump is on trial for in New York. So, if you've ever dreamed of having a president who can govern from the comfort of their very own prison cell, your wish might just come true. Talk about a captive audience. I guess the moral of the story is, if you want to be president, just make sure you're not caught participating in an insurrection. Trump wants you to vote, and to vote for RFK Jr. Trump is now encouraging Democrats to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the independent 2024 candidate. The same RFK Jr. that Trump calls a radical left candidate. I guess in Trump's world, radical left is just another way of saying a better man than Joe Biden. The mental gymnastics here are truly impressive. Trump insists that if he were a Democrat, he'd vote for RFK Jr. every single time over Biden. Why, you ask? Because apparently RFK Jr. is more in line with Democrats. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think that Trump's understanding of political ideology is about as clear as a foggy morning in San Francisco. But wait, there's more. Trump even manages to bring up RFK Jr.'s past support for the Green New Scam, as he so eloquently puts it. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but hey, when you're Donald Trump, you can pretty much say whatever you want and your supporters will nod along like those little bobblehead dolls on a dashboard. So let me get this straight. Trump, the Republican frontrunner, is endorsing an independent candidate, calling him a radical leftist, and urging Democrats to vote for him over their own incumbent president. It's like watching a game of political twister, where the players are all tangled up, and nobody knows which hand goes where anymore. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what other mind-bending endorsements Trump has up his sleeve. Maybe he'll start campaigning for Bernie Sanders next, touting him as a true conservative, or something equally absurd. In the world of Trump, anything is possible. And that's what makes it so darn entertaining. When we come back, it's debate time. Well, it's not debate time, but it should be. It looks like Donald Trump is itching for a debate showdown with Joe Biden. The former president's campaign has formally asked the Commission on Presidential Debates to move up the fall schedule, presumably so Trump can start slinging zingers at Biden as soon as possible. You know, I can't help but wonder if Trump's sudden enthusiasm for debates has anything to do with the fact that he refused to debate his Republican opponents during the primary. I guess he figured, why let Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis take shots at me when I can save all my best material for Biden? But here's the thing. The Biden campaign hasn't even committed to any debates yet. In fact, Biden himself said back in February, if I were him, I'd want to debate me too. He's got nothing else to do. Ouch! Looks like the president isn't exactly jumping at the chance to verbally spar with his predecessor. Now, let's not forget that the Republican National Committee had some beef with the Debate Commission back in 2022. They demanded changes in moderator selection and scheduling, claiming the commission was biased against Trump in 2020. But apparently, those concerns have magically disappeared now that Trump is the presumptive nominee. It's almost as if the RNC's principles are as flexible as a yoga instructor on a hot summer day. But who knows? Maybe they've had a change of heart, or perhaps Trump just really wants to get his debate on. One thing's for sure, if these debates do happen, we're in for a wild ride. Can you imagine the ratings? It'll be like a reality TV show meets a political cage match. So buckle up, folks, because the 2024 presidential race is about to get a whole lot more interesting, and probably a whole lot more absurd, too. Well, that's all for this episode of Ballot. See you next week for more laughter-inducing analysis of the wild world of politics. Until then, keep your eyes peeled for any surprise endorsements from Trump. You never know who he might back next.